How's it going, everyone? Welcome back. Two things today. First things first, though, a company known as Spelab Performance generously sent me dual electric cutouts are here in the box. Some of it's unboxed. Let me show you what's going on here, though. This is obviously one of the power cables to go from your power source to the electric motor on each cutout. They're dual 2.5. This was the feature that I really liked. Right here, you can be nearby and just open, close, go from tame to neighbor hater. They've got it where go into a cigarette lighter or wire it up direct, which is what I will be doing. But that's kind of cool that I can do this, so I can temporarily, once I get them installed on this truck, show you how they operate. And obviously what we all want, we want to hear it sound different. So let's show you what else in the box besides the boring wiring. Got past that part. A couple of nice gaskets with flange. They're like a fiber, they're not paper, they're not cheap, so I expect them to last and not blow out. Here's the basic component of it that's going to go in the stream of the exhaust. Nice thick flange, all stainless steel. Nice beads on the welds. So we've got two of those in the kit, obviously. This is the flange that goes here. It doesn't just have a cap. Got a nice V-band. Again, nice thick flange. Got our hardware. Hold those two together. And this is kind of also a feature I liked. They give you a little turn down is what that flange is for. Hooks into that, and we can kind of direct the flow whichever way we want to go when it's open. So that was another feature as well that I liked and drew me towards this kit. And then we have your pretty standard electric dump valve here. Looks like a lot of stainless hardware on it. Won't rust. Good. Very humid climate here in Florida. So yeah, we've got two of these. We're going to be coming off the headers, two pipes into the cutouts, and then we're going to Y into a single 3.5 inch. And I've got this 2500 HD tailpipe here. I will show you some of the components we're using for that. But first, I really wanted to cover the cutouts and show you what I got going on there. There will be a link in the description and at the end of the video as well, in case you missed that, where you can pick a set of these up and a discount code as well. So go ahead and check that out. But before I get too long-winded here, let's go ahead and just in case you were wondering what truck it is, it's this one. It's not my silver Chevy Silverado. This is the 2000 Sierra, regular cab, short bed, step side. It does have an LQ4 and an 80E like my truck. There's a playlist. I will stick it right here so you can click on it and check out some of the details of this truck so you can get caught up. Okay, so the next order of business is what we're going to be using to fill in the gap here. As I mentioned before, 2500 HD tailpipe off a gas job. It's 3.5 inch. I'm going to be using this guy right here, hopefully to get me from here. I may have to, likely gonna have to do some trimming to get, and some cutting and spinning around to use this bend to get into the muffler, which is here. This is from a MagnaFlow kit donated by a local muffler shop. I'll link them in there. Shout out to Mr. Muffler and Jamie over there. Pulled it off a customer's vehicle after, I don't know, 3 to 6 months. Guy said it was too quiet. Well, he had manifolds and cats probably on his stock 2500 HD. Probably is going to be too quiet. But that's a nice big case muffler to go in here. And I've also got this nice V-band from Mishimoto here, 3.5 inch. We're going to go likely between the muffler and the tailpipe. I want this to be able to drop out of here in sections so I can service the transmission. Hopefully never again, but if I do, I do. this is what's going to connect us all. It's a nice Flowmaster Y-merge, 2.5 to 3 inch. I've used them for years. They work well. But that's what's going to get us from the dual 2.5 to single 3.5. Some people are probably like, well, why don't you go dual all the way out? Well, we did that previously. You can see there's some of the old exhausts had 2 stock tailpipes, made it into 2 MagnaFlows stacked like this instead of the traditional way. And the one, as you can see by the ugly welds on it, kept splitting. Probably, maybe it needed to be spun a different way, I don't know. But regardless, them are about a 14-inch case muffler, and they were quite raspy. I had to add a couple of these guys right here. It toned it down some, but it still was kind of too loud for my dad's liking, as this used to be his truck. It's come back to me recently. So, and I've got a similar arrangement on my truck. I go dual 2.5 inch into 2 Dynamax race bullets, and then into a big case MagnaFlow. Mine's 2 in, 1 out, so I didn't need this guy right here. But this is more, again, me working with what I have. It's gonna get busy in here, the length of everything, so I may end up going ahead and trimming that back just a hair, but we've got plenty of length to trim from. Regardless, as always, we're trying to work with what we have and not buy a bunch of stupid expensive stuff. I'll link all this stuff in the description like I normally do. You can see the part number and all there. Look that up yourself. There's the Flowmaster part number. I can more than likely find one for this muffler. This was free to me. I know not everybody's gonna get a free muffler, but I'll get you some dimensions off it here shortly so you can match it up to something similar. Maybe you don't like the sound of MagnaFlow. I'm a fan of it. I like them. So that's what I try to use in 99% of the scenarios. So, all right, without further ado, I need to get to work here, get my chops on, welder out here, and need to get cutting and welding and making some of this stuff fit. One of the first things I'm running into is this hanger on the exhaust system is too short. When I try and rotate this up here, you can see without rotating it much, it's right up against the bed there. So I will be cutting this somewhere in here probably, and there's a hanger on that stuff over there. I'll cut it down closer to the pipe, and I'll extend this and get it down. I think based on frame measurements, my 03 2500 HD and these half-ton trucks, it's about 1.5 inches difference. It was supposed to be 2 inch per the internet, but it was about 1.5 inches. So I'm going to try and section in about 1.5 inches here to drop this down. I don't want it resting on the axle tube, but I don't want it against the bottom of the bed here, and I don't want it smacking the floor of the bed either. So I've got to find that fine line where it sits in that happy median. So let me get to that, get the tailpipe off. I'll go ahead and make that cut, and then I'll have to rotate it around and find my happy spot and take a measurement, and I'll cut and paste that as needed. All right, stay tuned for that, and then likely we're gonna, after that, get this muffler somewhere set in here, mocked up, and figure out how we're gonna get from this into the back of that muffler. All right, stay tuned. All right, so I went ahead, cut both hangers off. Top one off the tailpipe I'm gonna use, the other one off the donor. And if you look, right now it's gonna add, not quite, but almost 3.5 inches of length. So clearly I'm gonna have to chop this down. But I'm gonna get the tailpipe mocked back up in here, and kind of with like a little bullet, magnetic bullet level on the tailpipe, kind of figure out where I want it here and there, and get this distance, maybe put a block of wood or something in here to hold it up for me while I play with the position of the tailpipe, and then I can figure out from there. So well, I've got a tape measure here. we'll get you some dimensions on the muffler. So it is at the widest part, a 6-inch thick case, and yeah, overall it's about 11.5 at the width there. And the important part to a lot of people, they want to know the case length. So yeah, we're just at about 22 inches right there for the length of the case. 20 and above, you get pretty decent sound control. So hopefully that information will help you out there. And hopefully I didn't make you dizzy taking my glove off so I could tap the screen to see what I'm filming. But again, so 6-inch through the thickness here, 11.5 this way, 22 by the case length. Probably overall, outlet to inlet, yeah, we're looking at about 26.5 inches overall from that inlet to this outlet, or vice versa. I do believe these are reversible, so depending on, this is an offset center muffler, I may have to reverse it around to get the fitment up here that I want. So all right, stay tuned. I'm gonna keep plugging along with this, and when I have the hanger tacked on where I want it, we can take a look at that and work from there. All right, so here's where we're at right now. How well y'all can see that. I got about fatness of my fingers between the body there. I was trying to tuck it up here. Clearly, you know, it's made for a different truck, not this one. But I clamped it with a pair of vice grips right there for now. Got the old bungee hanging in the back of it so it doesn't droop. Got some blocks in here. As you can see, I'm gonna have to chop off somewhere in here, probably where this starts to make the turn, so I can get straight into the muffler. Get up in here. I got about 2 inches. It doesn't look like it, but I got about 2 inches from the top of the tailpipe to the heat shield right now. That's the least amount I feel comfortable with having. Next order of business, I want to get the muffler kind of sitting in here, and then I've got to figure out my Y-merge and cutouts. Again, I said it was gonna, real estate was gonna get very scarce pretty quick. I mean, what did I say, 26.5 I believe overall. So if that muffler's somewhere in that range, it's gonna be about where this cross member is. And then I've got to fit that Y in here to these, and the cutouts have to go in here somewhere. So likely I'm going to end up right here on this one between the header and this resonator, cutting it and dragging it back. Of course I put the tape measure down. I'm gonna say 5 or 6 inches to make room for that cutout. Yeah, so about 7 is what I'm looking at to put the edge of this over in here. Yeah, so likely I have to shorten that one up. The other one is sitting right here. Obviously this is going to be too long for this section in here, so the only, well, yeah, them cutouts are probably going to have to go somewhere in this area right here next to the drive shaft to make it work, because that Y-merge is going to be probably somewhere between this cross member with the drive shaft loop and this one here for the gas tank. So this will go away. I'll probably cut right here, and then, like I said, take 7 inches out of this, see where I've got for room. I've got to try and run the other one right next to it. So I will, yeah, likely be chopping a good 9-10 inches out of this one to scoot it back enough to be able to run the cutout, because the body of this is 9.5 inches. So yeah, we'd put it in here somewhere. All right, let me try and mock some of this up. It's kind of hard to do by myself. Holding everything and propping, that's why I've got the blocks of wood, vice grips, bungee cords. But we're gonna figure it out and get everything all in here nice and level and even and lined up, and we'll weld it all up and we'll do the payoff. And it never fails. Gotta love the inconsistency and unpredictability of the Florida weather. Starting to make some headway. Gonna have to stop for a little bit, or maybe come back this tomorrow. I don't know, we'll see how long it stays. So after a nearly 4-hour rain delay, we're back. That's what sucks about not having a big enough shop to fit all this stuff in here and be able to work in any kind of weather or temperature. But let me jump back into it here. So before I was rudely interrupted by Mother Nature, I did get some stuff taken care of on this. So I pretty much cut all the pipe off of both of these and got a nice clean edge so I could start fresh. There's some of the stuff I chopped off. Got this pipe shortened and reinstalled off the passenger side header. Driver side, you can see I put a mark here, and I told myself add about a 1/2 inch that way, going this way from the line, so I've got something to slide this little resonator over. That's what I would call them at best, is a resonator there. Here, let me pull one off here and show you. They do some to, you know, kill some of the drone. I don't know if you can really pick that up, but yeah, it's just a perforated core. Straight through though. It did help some when I put it on with the other system, but it did not kill all drone, wasn't an end-all solution. So got them pretty much set up how I want when I cut the pipe back to roughly there and scoot this over. It's going to put this edge of this resonator probably where I can stick my pinky in between them, and then I've got to try and get a cutout in and another cutout, get them situated somewhere in here or back here. More than likely I've measured and see how much I could cut, which is nearly 6 inches off of this Y-merge, to give me room to push the muffler this way and actually push the Y-merge back a little bit too to get the cutouts in. Yes, it's a full-size truck, but not a whole huge bunch of real estate in here. I've maybe got about 4 feet really from this point to that other cross member rear axle area, so where I've got to try and make the turn and into the muffler and fit everything else I just mentioned in this space. So it gets busy really fast, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So let me quit rambling and get back to work on all this stuff. All right, so this is where we're at. This is why stuff like this takes forever, seemingly. I've shortened this up, tucked this in. Like I said, I can barely get my pinky finger in between them, but they're not gonna rub. Looks a bit janky because stuff's kind of not really clamped or welded and all that, and it's the weight of it's pulling it down instead of, but I would have liked to have had the cutouts side by side, symmetrical, but how far these electric motors stick out to drive them, and if I reverse the one to this side, I'm into the drive shaft. Could I try and maybe come up next to it here? Maybe, but nah. So I'm okay with them being staggered like this. The two resonators are staggered as well, so it is what it is. I just measured this distance between here and here, and I've got about 19 inches. I remember saying the muffler is like 26 and a half. So I'm gonna have to take at least 5 inches off of this to make some room and hope that I've got enough real estate and can go in a tight enough bend to turn and get in the back of the muffler right here with this U-bend I have. So people wonder why some of this stuff takes so long sometimes. Well, I don't have a tubing bender for one, so I'm doing this all with a finest Harbor Freight chop saw. They should sponsor me, all the stuff of theirs I use and shout outs I give them. Yeah, that's why it's kind of taken so long, is that, and this wasn't designed for this truck. I'm kind of ad-libbing it as I go. So hoping I can use this hanger once I find my bend, bring another one down and grab it to kind of take the weight of the back of the muffler. And I've got another one here that I'm kind of hoping I can come up and in to this one as well to hold this part of the system, because really everything else is just supported by the headers bolted to the engine for the weight through in here. So all right, let me I'm gonna at least take 5 inches off this with the chop saw right now. That'll get me in the ballpark over in here, and then I'm gonna have to probably pull this tailpipe down soon and chop a section of it out, and I'll probably take a piece of welding rod and try and figure out the shape of my bend to get into the muffler, and hope I've got enough room to squeeze it in there. So all right, well, let me attempt to do all that. Maybe I can get this tacked together today and finish up over the next couple of days. So we had family in town, extended family. Lost about a week. That sucks, but about to get back on it and pick up where I left off about 5 days ago. Last time, just kind of cutting and trimming everything and figuring out where I was going to stick it all together. We'll continue on that today. Won't bore you with too much of that. I'll just show you as I get everything assembled and stuck together. All right, without further ado, let's get to work. All right, so been hard at work all morning. Got the muffler hanging there by that bungee cord for right now. Got all this stuff pretty much where it's got to go. This is my fault. Yeah, that muffler is laying like this. I'm trying to twist it and it's not wanting to move. So went to look for channel locks or a pipe wrench. I don't have anything big enough to go around this guy right here to try and maybe reef on it. So maybe making a trip to good old Harbor Freight. So yeah, got that V-band welded on the back. Very nice. All right, as soon as I can get this level, I'm gonna probably have to cut this back a little bit more, and it's going to be a very tight turn to get into here. I may even have to cheat the tailpipe backwards just a hair to make that connection, but we'll make it happen. Almost there. Almost. So it's raining. Well, it was raining pretty hard a few minutes ago again. It died out. I'm going to wait it out here, see what it does. I've almost got this system built. So, stitched in all this. I need to put this hanger right here. Support the weight of that here. I'm gonna need one down here to the muffler case to support it back here. Got my V-band on. Built this pipe to come up over. I'm not using as much of this 2500 tailpipe as I would have liked because it's not made for the vehicle. I've got a little piece that kind of turns here. I've got it taped together. It's about ready to weld. If the rain subsides, I'll roll the welder back out, stitch that all together, get it welded to this. Gotta pull the tailpipe off probably for the 10th time in the last couple hours. Grind this all smooth on the bench grinder, deburr it, and then I can kind of find where it's got to go and tack it in 2 or 3 places. And then I can undo my clamp, hanger, pull it out for the final time, weld it. I thought I had some black like VHT heat paint. I don't. I wanted to from, say, like here out in black to kind of blend it in and make it hide. I don't want anything shiny or flashy on this. So that's pretty much where we're at. So we're getting there. Hopefully, fingers crossed, I can get to this tomorrow if I can't get to it in a few 20-30 minutes here, waiting for the weather to do whatever it's going to do, and get it wrapped up. And then, like I said, I've got to drive shaft, converter bolt, starter, feed it some fluid, put the battery in it, and start it up, hear it run, listen to it through the exhaust, and then of course what we're really wanting is how's it sound with the cutouts, open and idle, snapping a throttle a little bit. So compared to through that muffler, it'll still be going through them 2 resonators up here, but you saw how small they are, and they're just a straight through perforated core. So all right, hang in there. If not later today, then definitely tomorrow. So the weather blessed me. Got this all stuck together, put some heat paint on the joints, letting it dry, and next thing is going to be to install those electric cutouts and get them actually on the system while I wait for that to dry, and then I can hang that back on. Then the next time I'm out here, hopefully tomorrow, transmission cooler and lines, converter bolt, starter, fluid, battery, stuff like that, and then pay off. I know I've been teasing it, but dead serious. All the fabrication's done. That's the main thing. That was tedious, having to twist and turn. I didn't have any pie cuts. I didn't really have a way to make any, so I had some tight bends there that I had to cheat, and I had some gaps about like that I just had to fill in with weld. So I don't really like to do that. I like stuff butted tight, but hey, maybe in time I'll be able to get a TIG welder, teach myself, and get a better saw for making some pie cuts, so I can make stuff tighter, cleaner bends like that. But it's all speculation right now. It's just what I'd like to do in the future. All right, hang tight, and we're gonna get to that side of things. So we're getting ready to call it quits here pretty soon. It's been a long day. Got a lot done though. The exhaust, other than me having to add a couple of hangers, all there. So was looking at this, and you look at the side profile of the truck and you can see them. That one's okay. That one, I think I would like a little piece of pipe to bring that turn down up. So maybe just a little turn and then straight, and then put that elbow on it. Ran my new braided cooler lines from Glenn's Auto Performance. Yes, I can make my own up, but man, that's convenient, and they really have nice stuff. Starter and converter bolts, still gotta do those. Got the True Cool 40K setting up in there. It's got to be mounted, but I did get the lines running connected. I'm gonna have to, you can see that one kind of dangling in there, and the grill or valance. I'll have to go ahead and take care of that one, and 8L clamp them. They did give me some clamps. So, but overall, looking good. Pretty happy with the progress. I'm going to be hurting tomorrow. All right, So when we come back, be tomorrow. I'm not gonna bore you to tears with doing converter bolts and starter and tighten some bolts up, things like that, and then filling it with fluid. But once it's up and running, I'll go ahead and obviously start filming then and show the operation of those cutouts, listen to the sound of the new exhaust, go to the playlist for this truck, be able to hear the old exhaust with 2 mufflers, the resonators, 2 tailpipes. Not as clean. I think this is going to sound a lot cleaner with that big case muffler. We'll see though. And if I have time, I will add the 2 hangers I talked about. I want to put one right here, obviously. Take some of the weight off of here. And then I need to put one back here, up to this factory hanger here, to take the weight off the rear of the system. But all right, that's all for now. I'll wrap it up tomorrow. So 2 words: food poisoning. Yet another week's went by here. I got all this exhaust work done on this last week. Had one more day before I went back to work to get out here and take care of this. Got up that morning and for whatever reason I was craving something in particular. Went to a local place here and wasn't as good as it normally was. That should have been my first cue, and within 15-20 minutes I was ill. So yeah, didn't get anything done that day, needless to say, and had to go back to work nursing a stomach that wasn't feeling too well. Done with the work week, so gonna jump back on this, get this wrapped up today finally. Between the weather and, you know, family stuff and then food poisoning, yeah, I should have had this done 2 weeks ago, but this isn't my full-time job. So without further ado, I'm gonna quit yapping. Converter bolt, starter, battery, drive shaft, feed it some fluid, and run the wires for those cutouts, and we'll have the payoff finally. All right, so 2 hours later, converter bolts all in and tight, starters in. These were loose previously. Old drive shafts back in. Gonna run some wires for these guys and put the battery in, feed it some fluid, and start it up. So before we get to the payoff, I wanted to give a shout out to Spelab Racing. They're the ones who supplied the electric cutouts for this. I appreciate them being patient with me during the whole process and trusting the process. I didn't think I was going to have as many setbacks with weather and food poisoning and all that as I did, but stuff happens. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get to the payoff. So the moment of truth, I think I may have some sort of an exhaust leak or something going on up there, I don't know. Through the muffler. And this handy guy right here. Just like that, we comply with the neighbors again. But I gotta figure out why I've got so much noise going on up here. But that completes that job. Check them out, Spelab Racing. I'll have a link for the cutouts that I used and anything else I used. I do not know what that noise is. That's weird. Back here by the tailpipe. That easy. That was definitely one of the features that sold me on it. So as always, thanks for watching. Stand by, because that'll probably be one of the next videos, is me troubleshooting that, figuring out why it's got that valve train noise.